Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your October 1st, 2020 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they're all listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity through your body like storm clouds. Feeling yourself become calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. All right, let's see what the tarot has to say. I'm just going to let the bowl sing as I move your Moonology and your Queen of the Moon cards over to the side. These will be layered on top of the tarot to really let Luna speak for herself. Virgo. How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Actually here, okay. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Fantastic. Now the left-hand side, this is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. And your right-hand side is your public self in the public arena. So we have the Wheel of Destiny, the Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing. You have the Seven of Swords, a gathering of knowledge and a moving forward. There are some things that you have to leave behind. It is going to be better for you all in all, not to take on the burdens. Then you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, this is a change your mind, change your life. There's a focusing on the negative, a focusing on the pain and on the sorrow. And what your angels are saying here is to let the joy in, even if it seems like it is so hard to focus on the joy. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, earth sign energy. So this is definitely you stepping forward, right? Queenly energy around you, prosperity, bounty, Virgo. This is also connecting you with the full moon on the 31st of October, because this reading goes from full moon to full moon. So the full moon in Taurus on the 31st is going to also be a very prosperous, a very grounding time for you. This makes sense because it is the full moon in Shamwin, and it is, Halloween, and it is the full moon, it is the blue moon. So That is going to be very powerful. The full moon on the 1st, of course, is in Aries, and the new moon is in Libra, and I will get to all of this as soon as we are done turning the cards over. The Two of Swords, there's a choice to be made within your heart, within the soul. There is a sense of feeling like you had to make a decision a certain way, and now you're going to have more doors open to you, more realizations, more understandings. It then leads you to the Two of Pentacles. The repeat of the number 2 here means that your heart is astoundingly creative during this time. There's tremendous power around you. There is a sense of working with others. And even if these others are simply your angels and your spirit guides, you are being moved forward towards them, being guided towards more. Then you have the Star card, Aquarius energy, time frame of January 20th to February 18th. There's a sense of your heart's wish really being granted. This is the deep wish of your soul. This is higher perfection being seen. You end here with another 2, and this is the Two of Cups, healing, beautiful love, come in. So it's really interesting because you start here with like decisions needing to be made, seeing things open 2 ways, but not really feeling like either one of them is right for you. There's been a lot of settling that you've been doing, Virgo. And sometimes, yes, you have to make the best out of a bad situation. But for you, as you're moving forward, there is a sense here of like things that you hadn't realized you could do, or ways of moving forward that you thought were closed to you for some reason or another, they start to open up. And then you're balancing everything. And there's kind of this manic, desire to move forward. Of course, we all have it, especially when it comes to money and success and prosperity. It's like, okay, I can balance everything. I could just keep on putting more and more and more on my plate. But then there's a beauty that comes in. There's a sense of needing to look at yourself. And as you do so, it's like, what do I wish for my life? What do I desire? What do I truly, truly want? And then there's a healing that comes. And it's like, your heart just kind of breathes this sigh of relief. And it's priorities, being organized. It's sitting there and not expecting to be a superhero. And that's going to be really great for you. That really is. Then we have the Six of Wands, learning to celebrate yourself in the public arena instead of saying, well, there's more that you have to do. And just because you did that well doesn't mean that you're done yet. Stop being so hard on yourself. Here with the Six of Wands, it's like you have to celebrate you. You have to sit there and say, job well done. Good job. I am moving forward towards more. I love that the 6 is going into the 7 of Pentacles. So you celebrate yourself, and you have to have patience because the prosperity that you want is coming, but it's coming in divine time, not our time, which is always the most frustrating thing. I find that to be so terribly frustrating. Whenever, the cards say it, whenever Spirit says it, there is this sense of patience because it'll be so much sweeter once it is divinely sent. A repeat of the number 6 here with the 6 of Swords. You are moving forward. 6 is a caring, a nurturing number, which really falls into alignment with who you are, Virgo. You are an astoundingly caring, nurturing, giving person. And so here with the 6 of Swords, you're taking all your knowledge, all your understanding, and you are moving forward. You are moving forward to so much more. And you're going to be a bit afraid, a bit questioning. Yes, that's going to be completely normal, but you move forward. And then you have, perspective changing. You don't see things the same way as everybody else, which can make you feel a little bit like, oh, I'm out in the cold. Oh, I'm not like everybody else kind of thing. Don't let yourself worry because there's actually tremendous power and tremendous healing in the way that you are viewing situations, in the way that you are looking at yourself and your word and your world and the way that you want to move forward, because this full moon is in Aries. And with the Aries full moon, this is a time of beginnings. This is why it is the beginner's moon. And this is a time of looking at what you desire, what you want, and taking those steps to bring more into your life. More power, more prosperity, more abundance. And as this Aries sign comes in, as this Aries full moon comes in, this is your starting point. This is where you're looking at things to say, okay, how do I move forward? Where is it that I want to be? Because of your own personal nature and also the nature of this moon, you're going to try and tackle what brings you the most stress, what brings you the most anxiety first. And that's not going to be the most helpful or the most healthy thing for you. You have to step back and look at what's really important to your soul and to yourself, to your happiness, because this is a time of me first. And it's not like a petulant little child saying, oh, me first, me first. Or, as people do when they're excited, this is a sense of saying, I cannot move forward properly. I cannot embrace my love, my joy, my understanding, my beauty, if my cup is shattered. I cannot hold the energy of spirit, the knowledge of my angels, if the cup that I use to bring beauty into the world is leaking. And the cup that you use is your own body, your own soul, your own self. And so here, with this energy, you start to see the changes needing to be made to make sure that you're just not giving and giving and giving till there's nothing left to give, till there's nothing left for you. And so here, as you move forward, you see things more honorably for yourself. And that's as you surrender to the divine, because it is going to be a divine surrendering that leads you to this knowledge. There's going to be something about this moon where certain things start to fall into alignment, start to come forward for you, and you're like, oh, that's what I need to do. And you really feel at that moment like divinity took the wheel, the angels moved you forward. There's a sense of a deeper connection with your spirit guides, and power comes to you. Power is a part of you. It radiates from you. It's not the harsh radiance of the sun. It is the quiet, gentle, soothing radiance of the moon. And as you embrace this moon, you're bold, you're impulsive, you're energetic. Watch the impulsiveness, right? Because you're a bit of an impulsive person. You can be. It depends on how Virgo-y you are, what other signs and everything influences you. But you don't want to be too impulsive, because you want to make sure the roots are strong. That's always going to be that's always such an important thing for earth sign energies. The roots are strong. And so there's a strength to you that you are really focusing on. This is a restoration of your vitality, of your passion for yourself, the spark of life and creativity and energy and beauty that leads you forward. And as you embrace this, you embrace so much more than you thought, so much more than was anticipated, and you start to really see what you desire, what you want, and what you need. This leads you to the new moon in Libra. The new moon in Libra is on the 16th of October. This brings beginnings, and this brings a sense of knowing that it is time to start. And as the beginnings come, you walk from one way of being into another. So I always think of the new moon as being very indicative of the god Janus in Roman mythology. Janus is the god of January, and he is the god of beginnings. He is the god of portals. He is the god of new starts and endings. And that's what beautifully shows the power of the new moon. The new moon is a time of meditative contemplation. It is a time of power coming in. And here with the Libra new moon, it says a new romantic cycle is starting. And this isn't a new romantic cycle in falling in love, though you can very well fall in love. This is a new romantic cycle in your life, and having the beauty of your life come forward, in falling in love with your existence, falling in love with your hopes and your dreams and your honor and your understanding. This is feeling in balance with yourself, feeling as if you can conquer what needs to be conquered, and you can move forward in a way that brings justice into your world, that brings harmony into your existence, that moves you to a greater understanding of self and of truth. And as you do so, you find yourself embracing these beginnings more openly, more honestly, and really moving forward and knowing that it is a new start. That just as the phases of the moon hold power, and just as, this time within our lives, we are always changing, we are always developing, we are always becoming, you are stepping into that honor and that truth. And then on the 31st of October, we have the full moon in Taurus. And as I said before, this is a blue moon. This is a blue moon, on Samhain, or is it on Samhain or around that time? So there is astounding power to it. There is astounding truth. This is Halloween. This is joy. This is coming together. This is a celebration, and this is a channeling of power. And so here it says your dreams need a practical plan. What you're going to be focusing on this time is the stability, the sensuality, the honor, the becoming, the power, the strength, the knowing of this Taurus energy. And it's going to call to you, because whenever you have your energy sign, you have earth sign energy as the full moon, and you're an earth sign energy, it calls to you. All right, it brings you forward in a way that you hadn't anticipated and you hadn't expected. And so it starts to open up the world to you. You start to become more grounded. You look at your dreams, and instead of them being a nice little thing that you put on the shelf, and when you're super, super stressed, you kind of just sit back, or when you need a retreat, you sit back and you dream about the life that you want. But it's always going to be a dream. It's always put back on the shelf. It is too precious to live. And now you sit there, and it's kind of like, why? Why is my dream so precious that I cannot live it? Is it because I'm afraid of failing? Is it because I'm overwhelmed? Why is it that I cannot move forward? And so here you start to see this. And as you are seeing this, you have the crow spirit and the dove spirit coming forward. Now, these are the spirit animals for October, and they seem terribly incongruous. They really do. Because the crow, when you have a flock of crows, it's a murder of crows. And when you have a dove is a symbol of peace, you know? So with these spirit animals coming forward, there is going to be the sense during October of a push and a pull, of a sense of, you know, am I moving forward the right way? There's a dichotomy to the energy that is around you. One is going to be very peaceful, very soft. The other is going to be a bit more warrior-esque. Of course, that makes perfect sense because the Aries full moon, Aries is the archetype of the warrior. So you have, you know, Aries is the god of war in Roman mythology. No, in Greek mythology, Mars is in Roman. So here, with the crow spirit, it's really going to speak to that warrior energy that is around you. It's going to speak to the pushing forward. It's going to speak to the conquering. It's going to speak to the... Spirit is saying it's going to speak to the carnage. Now, that could be very interesting. So just be very mindful of what it means by the carnage, all right? So what I'm seeing here is it means that you are still going to be able to find beauty and power, even though the road isn't always smooth. Because the crow spirit says here, co-create with spirit. It actually has, it's a beautiful spirit animal. And the crow spirit equals and brings us to change. It brings us to sacred law and sacred truth, connecting to the truth of this world, to the truth of the energy that we live, to the truth of our natures and ourselves. It has us needing, it literally has us needing to trust our intuition, trust who we are and where we're headed, speaking the truth and being transformed by that truth. It's like, I'm not going to speak lies. I'm not going to be molded and guided by nonsense. And as you do so, it brings you messages from spirit, from the divine, about the power, about the abundance that you are moving forward in. And then you have the dove spirit. The dove spirit brings messages of peace and hope to brokenhearted people. And don't we all have broken hearts? You know, every inhale, every way that we live, we cannot live without a bit of pain coming into our lives, without hurt and disappointment. So it is hope and it is peace for as we move forward and as we heal. And that's what you're rooted in right here in your heart. It brings gentle compassion. It brings a kind understanding. And it releases you from the pain that is holding you back. And it releases you from the fear that is keeping you small. And as you do so, as this energy is around you, as the warrior spirit becomes you, you are fierce. You are fierce with change. And this change comes forward. And you're sitting there, and you are going to feel at times like you're on this mad roller coaster ride, as if you don't know exactly how you're heading or where you're heading, but you know that you are getting there, and you know that you are being propelled forward. The Wheel of Fortune is the twists and turns life takes. The Wheel of Fortune is the highs and the lows, the lefts and the rights, but it is also the power and the truth, the understanding and the brilliance. And you are entering into a new season. You know, you are entering into a new time for yourself and where you want to be and what you desire. And it doesn't mean that you have to be entering into a bad season. It is simply a new season, a new way of being, a new way of understanding, a new beauty that you are seeing within yourself, and a new desire that is moving you forward. And you might sit there and have to step back a bit and see how to incorporate this into your life, into your soul, into yourself, into what you desire and where you are heading. Because it can be very, very different from the road that you thought you would walk, or the road that you had wanted to walk before. And now it comes in. And it's like, this is a new truth. This is a new power. This is a new understanding. And you start to gather up everything that you desire with the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords can also be trickery. Now, sometimes when we move forward, We don't always move forward in the most straightforward and honest of ways. We sit there and we're like, listen, I have to do what's right for me. And by doing so, I cannot always, meet other people's expectations. So you might find that, Spirit is saying something along the lines, and this could be for a very few bit of you who are watching, Virgo, that like it's giving your 2 weeks of notice and starting before, or not giving your 2 weeks notice and just changing jobs. Like for some people, it's going to be that. For some people, it is a sense of just a change coming in and not being able to inform everybody that is around you. It's like, oh my gosh, things are changing. And it can just be a mindset, a way, and people are sitting there and saying, well, I don't understand where you're coming from. And it's not that you're being sneaky. It is that you have such a different outlook, a different way of being that is moving you forward, that is propelling you to where you need to be and what you desire from life. There's also this gathering of knowledge, right? But you have to leave some things behind because they do not help you anymore. They do not serve a purpose. They actually weigh you down. It's bringing the past into the present, and it is missing the gifts that are around you. So there is a power here. And there is also a wish being granted. One of my friends, and he actually, really helped me learn the tarot. He would always say the 7 of Swords is the minor arcana wish card. And I mean, you can see that and you cannot. But I'm hearing his voice say a wish. And so there is a wish that you have. But because of the hurts and the pains and the disappointments that you have been through, you think that it will not be heard. You think that, that time is over. And it's time to move forward in a different way, a less happy way, a less contented way, a less of an understanding within yourself. And there's kind of this resignation. It's kind of like, well, that's how life is. You can't always be happy all the time. And yeah, that's true. You can't always be happy all the time. Life has its highs and its lows. Sometimes we wake up and we're just in bad moods or we're sad for no apparent reason. And it's frustrating. But to live in that sorrow, to live in that anger, to live in that frustration, that is too much. And that's what the 5 of Cups warns us against. It warns us against looking at the pains and the disappointments, the hurts that we've had by people who should have helped us, should have been there for us. And it has us here moving forward. Moving forward because we look at things. And it's not, with Pollyanna eyes. It's not, oh, everything's lovely type of thing. It's, sometimes life stinks. Sometimes you are given burdens that make it hard to breathe and make it overwhelming. And this is what you are a warrior against during this time. This is what this warrior moon is about for you. It is about looking at what you desire, looking at what you want, and saying, I will not be held back. I will not be denied. I will not be made small. I am a warrior of my truth. I am a warrior of my passion. I have love in me. I have healing in me. And if the only people I can rely on are my spirit guides and my angels, and yes, that might stink because I want someone tangible to talk to. I want someone that can sit down and have a cup of tea with me. This is working with that energy until you get to that point, until you move forward in that way. And this is releasing the hurts and the pains that have defined you for so long, but have also smothered a bit of the joy, a bit of the brilliance that is the jewel of your life, is the jewel of your soul. And there's a claiming of this with the Queen of Pentacles. There is a claiming of your prosperity. You are represented by the Pentacles in the Minor Arcana. You are represented by the Hermit in the Major Arcana. So when you have a king or a queen, and because you are the Hermit in the Major Arcana, it seems like it doesn't really go, right? Because you want to be kind of step back a little bit separate from things, and yet you have a monarch who is in the middle of everything. This is the king and the queen of your soul. This is the queen of who you are, of how you move forward, of where you want to be, of what you desire. This is the person who nurtures the seeds that you are planting, who sees what it is that you desire in your dreams and in your hopes and in your life, and says, I can make this real. It might not be perfect because divinity takes over. And the ideas that we have for things and the way that we see things, divinity says, you know what? I'm going to tweak this just a bit. We're going to look at things this way or that way, and we're going to move forward this way or that way. And so it can seem, rather interesting. But it is absolutely powerful. And it opens you. It opens you to a greater understanding. It opens you to a more profound truth. It opens you to being this queen. And the queens, for me, are more the directors behind the scenes. They can move more freely because everybody isn't staring at them all the time. And so there is a freedom of movement. There is a freedom of understanding. There is an embracing of power. And there is an absolute power to you. And it is coming in a more subtle way. Embrace what it is that you want from your life. Look at the seeds that you want to plant. And they can be abstract concepts. It can be hope and happiness and, freedom. And then see yourself nurturing those seeds. And as you're looking at things, you have thought there are two roads. There are two ways of doing this. And I have to embrace these two ways. It cannot be any other way. And that's a little suffocating. Because they're not really the two ways that you're into. It's kind of like a resignation. You have resigned yourself to this fact. You have resigned yourself to this fate. You have resigned yourself to this way of looking at things. But the wheels of fortune have changed. The world starts to open in a way that you hadn't anticipated, in a way that is beautiful, in a way that is, redefining. And you start to move towards those rules and towards those roads. So instead of the two roads being open to you, the two, black and white paths, the path of the page or the path of the word, black and white page, black print coming forward, there's something of intimate shade coming forward, something of desired contrast, bringing you to the place that you want to be. But it isn't what everybody else thinks it should be. It's what your heart, your soul, your power needs it to be. And as you start opening up your mind and yourself to these opportunities, to this way forward, it leads you to the Two of Pentacles. You're balancing so much. It's like, yes, I can do this. I can just keep on pushing. I can keep on doing. I'm going to get there. Nothing is going to stop me. And you are balancing everything. You are balancing the prosperity that you want. You are balancing the joy and the bounty that you want. You are balancing it all. And what is happening here is that you're forgetting to balance yourself. You're forgetting that you matter. And if this moon brings out me first type of mentality, then if you forget that you matter, are you channeling the energy of this moon? If you sit there and look at all the responsibilities, and believe me, I know the responsibilities, they pile up, and they don't stop piling up. It's so funny, because when you're little, you dream of being an adult, and it's like, wow, it's going to be so cool. Then you're an adult, and you're like, I'd really like to be young again. So it's very funny, and it's kind of that, it can also be those emotions that you are balancing. It's like, how do I move forward? Where is it that I want to be? How am I going to get there? What is it that I desire? And so here, with the Two of Pentacles, you're seeing that for yourself. And you're remembering it is your foundation that you need to be steadied with. It is your foundation that you need to honor and love within you, because it starts building you towards something so much more. And it leads you towards your soul's wish. It leads you towards your greatest desire. It leads you to this Aquarius energy, to the sense with the stars. Now, the moon reflects our closest star's light, the light of the sun. And so the reflection of this moon's power, the light of this full moon power, calls to the stars. It just does. And the stars for us are the highest form of men's perfection. When our ancestors looked up at the sky, they saw something so unobtainable, so perfect, so beautiful, that it awed them. They named it. They gave them stories. They were guided by the path of the stars. And that's what you're going to see for yourself. You're guided by the path of your dreams. You're guided by the hopes and desires that you have. You're guided by the beauty coming in. And you are moving forward towards this truth and in this knowledge. And as you do so, divinity starts to see your soul's wish. Not the wish that you sit there and cross your fingers. Not the wish that you say, oh, I wish I could, X, Y, Z. It's the wish of your soul. It's the wish of yourself. It's the wish of the power of your heart. And so you might not know that this is your soul's wish. You might sit there and see things kind of falling into place and being like, oh, well, that kind of feels right. And, oh, okay, I get that. type of thing. And you move forward, and you're going to be gobstopped, as you obtain where it is that you want to be, as you see what it is that you truly desire, as this power becomes a part of you. And as these wishes being granted come forward, it's kind of like a genie in the lamp, yeah, it is, because you have to be very mindful of what you are focusing on. Because what you're focusing on, what your heart is focusing on, is going to be what is granted to you by divinity. So if your heart is focusing on how frustrated, how angry, how upset you are, that is going to be what comes forward. If your heart is focusing on the beauty that you want, the way that you need to move forward, the power that you have, or the power that you are trying to channel once again, that is going to be what divinity sees and hears and moves forward with. It brings you to love. It brings you to a healing. It brings you to a compassion. It brings you to an understanding. You have the repeat of the number 2 3 times. Divinity is saying there's a collaboration here. There is a coming together. There's a creation. And as you move forward with this knowledge, as you move forward with this power, as you move forward with this truth, you are healed. It's a healing that brings you power and that makes you not like everybody else. That brings you a uniqueness, that brings you a sense of understanding that is really quite breathtaking. It's time to start celebrating yourself. Instead of sitting there and saying, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. I can't believe you dropped the ball there. I can't believe you dropped the ball here. What you are going to see right now is that there needs to be an understanding of the beauty, the passion, the power that is you. That there needs to be a sense of looking at who you are and saying, you're doing a good job. Even if you're frustrated because you're not getting the results that you want, looking at yourself and saying, well done. You're trying hard. You're putting your effort in. And I appreciate and honor you because of that. It changes the game. It moves you forward. And it brings you to this place of patience, which I know is not where you want to be. You're celebrating. You're like, yes, I'm calling it in. This power is coming to me. I'm accepting it. I'm a part of it. And then Spirit is like, okay, be patient. Be patient. Because as you're calling it in, you're going to get discouraged. You're going to sit there and say, listen, I don't know if I'm just being, a stupid fool who's calling in positivity, who's praising themselves, when really I should be working harder. I should be doing more. And it's not working. It is. You are changing your mind and you are changing your life. You are changing the way you see yourself and the success that is powering you and embodying you. The 7 of Pentacles is prosperity coming in. The 7 of Pentacles is a sweetness, a reward, a beauty that is absolutely breathtaking and astounding. But it comes at divine's time, at divinity's time and not ours. So it is super frustrating. Whenever I see the 7 of Pentacles, I always think of when I was little. And I went to a friend's house, I think also my paternal grandmother's, and they had strawberries. And ripe strawberries are delicious. But the strawberries weren't ripe. And so they cut them up and they sprinkled them with sugar. Just put a whole big ton of sugar in them, let them sit for a little bit. And then they gave you strawberries. And I remember thinking, that was awesome. You didn't have to wait for the strawberries to be ripe. And I went home and I told my mom. And I was like, look, you can have strawberries like this. And my mom said to me, she's like, okay, so here's an unripe strawberry. And here's sugar. And here's a ripe strawberry. Which one tastes better? And the ripe strawberry was the one that was so much more satisfying. Even though the unripe strawberry, I had put a whole bunch of sugar on. But it was still crunchy and hard and not that good. And so that stays with me. You can fake it. You can make it be what you want it to be. You can cover it with sugar. You can, give it a fancy coat outwardly, right? It's kind of like putting a new bunch of paint on a rotting house. It doesn't change that the inside is still falling down. It doesn't change that the fruit isn't ripe. It just makes it desirable for a moment. And that's what it is with the 7 of Pentacles. It's desirable for a moment when we force. And because the warrior energy is with us, and we have this tendency to be a bit impulsive and to want to conquer stress, impulsiveness and and stress kind of play at us. And we sit there and say, I want it now. I need it now, just the way that I have envisioned. And Spirit is saying, step back. Let it happen. Let it happen. Because what divinity has planned for you is greater than you realize. And so much more than you know. And that's in the public arena. What divinity has planned for you, if you keep on celebrating yourself, if you sit there and don't add to the burdens, add to the anger, add to the frustration that the world throws at us, if you sit there and say, I honor and respect me, and I know that I'm doing the best that I can, even on my worst days, I am still doing the very best that I can. There's a prosperity that comes. There's a balance that comes in. That is unexpected, is sweet, and is beautiful. And it moves us to the Six of Swords. Here, there's a very nurturing, loving energy around the public arena. Now, this can be somebody coming in, nurturing and loving us, most definitely. But it's also a needing to focus on the nurturing and the loving. It's needing to focus on that divine energy. It's needing to focus on that beautiful truth. It's needing to step back from the world and, color or do something, color or take a walk or do something that brings us peace within ourselves, that brings us beauty within our hearts, that takes the chaos that is everywhere right now, especially if you turn on the news, and brings us back to the beauty of our souls, brings us back to the centering of ourselves. And with the Six of Swords, you're taking all your knowledge, all your understanding, and you are moving forward. And what's really cool here is that you have 5 and then you have 6. And sandwiched between, is the wish. So you have a sense and you'll have a tendency, as all humans do, to look at where you have failed and what you are going to classify as failure. What divinity is going to say to you is that if you didn't have that setback in your life, you would not be where you are now. And you might sit there and say, well, I don't really like being where I am now. But where you are 3 years from now, where you are 3 months from now, might be astoundingly different because of the setbacks that you have seen, because of the heartbreak that you have known, because of the trials and the tribulations that you have been through. It has made you a completely different person than if you didn't have them. Because think of those people that everything just goes their way. They demand, they throw a hissy fit. They're kind of like giant teenagers, or giant 5-year-olds, where they just throw a hissy fit, get angry, yell and scream, and everything goes their way. Everything moves forward exactly as they wanted it to. They never evolve. They always stay that petulant child instead of growing into a mature adult. The maturity, it costs. It hurts. But it's powerful because it's what makes you the person that others look towards. It's what makes you able to be the healer that you naturally are. And as you see this, and as you understand this, you take your knowledge, you take what you have learned, and you move forward. You move forward in your understanding, you move forward in your truth, you move forward towards where you want to be, towards where you need to be, towards what your soul is longing for. And is it scary? Absolutely. Is divinity taking the wheel? Are your angels guiding you forward? Absolutely. So be empowered with that knowledge. Move forward in that truth. Know that there is more here than meets the eye. And what you have to do, and it's a have to, is know that you are well prepared for the journey ahead. Know that you hold the knowledge, not every bit of knowledge that you need, because there is still desire to grow. But from this moon and from this power around you and from this grace of your soul, there is true wisdom. And there is the spitfire passion, the fight to keep it going, to keep moving forward. And it brings you this completely different perspective than everybody else. And you can sit there and be like, well, I don't usually see life this way. You might sit there and be like, well, I don't know why, but I need to. I need to see it this way. I need to say these words. I need to embrace this part of my heart, this part of my soul. Because you have to. It is literally your soul saying to you, this is the path that you need to walk, and this is the place you need to be. Perspective is changing. You are changing, and you are changed by it. You are empowered, and you are emboldened, and you are invigorated. You're not going to be like everybody else, which can be off-putting, and you might sit there and say, why am I messing up so much? Why can't I just fit in? Because you weren't meant to. The herd goes this way, you go that. So what if you're different and don't act like them? It's one of my favorite poems. It's from, I think kids pick the funniest poems. Read it when I was in grade school. Yeah. So what if I'm different and don't act like them? I'm not going to change and be someone I'm not. I like who I am and I'm all that I've got. There's silliness before it, and funness, but that's the gist of it. And that's what you need to say to yourself. Why? Why is being like everybody else so much better? Because everybody you meet is walking around blissfully happy, blissfully in love with their lives, contented, secure, not pretending, but that true happiness that when you sit quietly with the person radiates from them. That true happiness where there is a power to their being and an essence to themselves that is contagious and is calming and centering. That is astoundingly hard to find. Change your perspective. And you may very well be one of those people who can have that radiance to their souls and to themselves. Let's see what Luna has to say. How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? How will Virgo be affected by the October 1st, 2020 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Okay, these three. Fantastic. Faith, darkness, gratitude. Faith, darkness, gratitude. Change. Don't let your past hold you back. You and your loved ones are safe. Luck is on your side. A win-win outcome is forecast. Work through your fears. Adjustments are required. So have faith. During this moon, have faith within yourself. Have faith within your warrior spirit. Have faith as you move forward. The darkness brings answers. The darkness brings understanding. The darkness brings you more than you anticipated. And kind of less than you thought it would bring. Because you're going to sit there and be looking at it and being expecting gifts kind of like from over here. And the gifts come from over here. Gifts from over here, over here. And you're going to sit there and be like, well, I didn't think of this. I was looking for something completely different. And divinity is going to tell you, this is exactly what you need. It's the quiet, it's the peace, it's the understanding, it's the beautiful symphony of the night that is such a part of your soul during this time. Gratitude. Gratitude through love and through caring, through compassion, through beauty, through healing, through acceptance. And that gratitude that spans ages, leads to change. A change to the path you thought you would be walking, a change to the way that you handle things, to make sure that you matter. This is a gratitude for the prosperity that you are embracing and the knowledge that you are embracing throughout lifetimes and throughout your DNA line. It's kind of like the wisdom that becomes a part of you. Don't let the past hold you back. Don't. Move forward to the power of the present. Don't live in the past. Okay? The wishes are answered in the present and in the future. And don't live in the future either. Always sitting there and thinking, oh, it'll be better when. Cultivate and create the path that you need and the place that you desire. It leads you. to knowing you and your loved ones are safe. It doesn't mean that nothing will ever happen, but it means that there is a safety, there is a security, there is a calmness around you and around them. Take aim. Luck is on your side. Take aim for what you want and what you desire and where you need to be. It leads you to having a very strong Libra energy, very strong new moon on the 16th. A win-win outcome is forecast. Focus on what you desire, because there is a win-win outcome coming. Work through your fears. Do not let your fears define you. It is time to see them, comprehend them, and not be held back by them. Adjustments will be required because sometimes fear can take over and just take on a life of its own. Do not let it have the power to hold you back. Or do not let it can have the power to hold you back. Do not let it take root and change what you desire and who you innately are. All right, Virgo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but, oh my gosh, your subconscious message. Here I am thinking, oh, singing bowl. That's what Spirit just said. It's like singing bowl time. Your subconscious moon message starts with confidence is key to success. And that is going to be really, really powerful for you. The confidence being your key to success. And as you embrace this confidence, as you embrace this success, there's a purity of self and soul. There's a sense of releasing the ashes of what has been and going to the fields that haven't been trodden on. You know, it's kind of like when snow falls and it's the pure snow that isn't by the highways, that isn't by the streets. That mucky snow is not what you're going after. It's that pure, untouched field that you are looking at. And it's that pure, untouched field of your soul, of yourself. It's that clear, harsh winter air, but it's that crispness. It's that beauty. It's kind of like, think of it as, you know, that clean, beautiful scent of winter, kind of mixed in with a little bit of a wood fire burning. It's just gorgeous. And it's centering. And for some primordial reason, it makes us feel safe. It makes us feel centered. And how when the birds sing in such a place, you know, their songs echo off the snow. And life becomes a little quieter, a little stiller, but a whole lot more beautiful. This leads you to your subconscious tarot message. The Devil. This is Capricorn energy. Time frame December 22nd to January 19th. You are breaking the ties that the devil holds. You are breaking the ties that have held you back, that have kept you small, that has stolen your voice. You're also looking at addictions, things that have robbed you of power and beauty and grace and loveliness. Whether that be a conventional addiction, you know, of alcohol and drugs and gambling, or whether it be a addiction of swallowing your words, of people-pleasing, of, you know, putting yourself last. Whatever it is, you're breaking the ties that it has over you. And you're embracing the power of this earth, the power of yourself, and the power of your intentions. Now it is time for the singing bowl. All right, Virgo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we move forward in grace, peace, and confidence of self, knowing that we might not be like everybody else, but that is not a bad thing, and that the journey and the wisdom of our souls is so much more than we could ever have expected. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo. And may you have a blessed moon.